Do you ever get those games where you just feel unstoppable, you feel like you're running riot, and it feels like no one can touch you? That's what this game felt like for me. And I'd like the main talking point of this vid to be this gun here, the MP7, but right now I'm on a streak, an moab streak, and it's the fastest one I have so far. So I'll talk about the MP7 in a couple of minutes, but I'll try and talk about Bukhara a little bit. So Bukhara is one of those maps I'm starting to do really well on lately. It's because the user-friendly areas of Bukhara are really accessible, and there's a lot of ways to get in, out and around the place. Through the doorways, the little intersections, up the roads and down the back alleys. There's a lot of ways to help you get from point A to point B and beyond. But at the same time, I think it's really easy to maintain some decent awareness. It's always easy to try and predict where the enemies are spawning, which way they're coming from, which road they're occupying, and stuff like that. And those two nice factors combined, knowing where the danger's going to be, and knowing how to kill off the danger without putting yourself in the shit. That's what makes Bukhara nice to play. And I think this building is probably the strongest point in the map. Not to camp in, but to make your next move from. It's nice to come in here, gather your thoughts, kill off a few from the balcony, and then move on to the next point. This building's a really good starting point to get you moving into the next area of the map. It has 3 ways in and out, and it can lead you out towards the helicopter, out towards this B road, or get you started going up towards C. And whichever doorway you decide to leave through, there's immediate cover from all of them, so once you've left the building, you know you can start progressing up through all the SMG friendly areas. So here's an example. I can see the spawn up by B, so I'm going to go left and not go there because that's a death trap. Instead go left. This is a lot more close quarters and more friendly to my SMG. Now I can see B from a much safer place, but still don't go there yet because it's populated and it's still a death trap. But they are going towards C, so I can cut them off in an SMG friendly area. And with enough death trap dodging and sticking to all the good paths, the main part I wanted to try and avoid was that area in front of B, the really open bit next to the road. It is straight up a death trap. And I'm not saying avoid them full stop. I'm saying that area was crawling with red dots. It was clearly full of enemies. It's not worth taking the risk. If you know the area is clear and you need to pass through, by all means try it. But if you know there's bad guys there, just try and leave it and find another way around. You don't want to go there for gunfights because they're not SMG friendly. Just use it as a passing point and nothing more, and go looking for gunfights somewhere else. Somewhere where your gun's going to win hands down. So, that MOAB clocked in at about 147 or 148 from first kill to last. It's my fastest one so far, but I feel like I could have got more out of this game, so for now I'll talk about the MP7 and why I think it's better than the Type 95. And I think the best way to explain this is to go back to Modern Warfare 2 and think about the UMP-45 in MW2. So the UMP-45, I consider that to be the best gun in Modern Warfare 2, and I think it was probably the most common choice, the most frequently seen gun you would ever find on the kill feed, that UMP-45. And that's ahead of the Intervention, which was really popular with all the snipers to quickscope with, and ahead of all the assault rifles, the FAMAS, the Scar-H, the TAR-21, etc, etc. That UMP really stood out. Why? I mean, while being pretty strong for a submachine gun, it was like, what, a 3-bullet kill across the map, the damage drop-off was very generous, and it handled pretty well. It was a fairly easy gun to shoot with and could get long-range kills, way above SMG standards. But the assault rifles were all still much easier to kill with, and we're talking, you know, FAMAS would one-bomb people at huge ranges, Scar-H, TAR-21, AK-47, M4A1, all these ACR, all these guns nailed people with ease at long ranges. I remember Wings of Redemption describing it as a subpar assault rifle, which, yeah, it is, in terms of shooting. But there's more to a gun than just straight up shooting it. I think one of the most overlooked factors about guns is the mobility. And I think, with a playstyle like Wings where he plays defensively, I think it's easy to overlook mobility, and that's not a jab at Wings at all. He says himself, he prides himself on his consistent scores because of his playstyle, and he's described it himself as defensive, and it's clear for all to see, so I can understand why you might think of a UMP as a subpar assault rifle. But for someone who wants to dart around the map at high speed, you can't really do that with a FAMAS in hand or an ACR. It's nowhere near as effective as doing it with a UMP. You take the most common first perk for a UMP, it would be Marathon, but for an assault rifle, it was usually Sleight of Hand Pro. And having that fast ADS from Sleight of Hand Pro was really important with assault rifles because they didn't aim down sight very fast. Submachine guns did, and that includes the UMP. You wouldn't need that fast ADS on a UMP. That's just one example. It's a lot easier to make sacrifices with perks because the mobility allows you to. That's a big factor that gives these guns their place in the game, and I don't think it should be overlooked. And similarly in Modern Warfare 3, the MP7 submachine gun has all the shooting attributes of what you might describe as a subpar assault rifle. I mean, the M4A1, the G36C, the FAD, the Type 95, they can all kill faster than this. Very true, but you cannot dart around at high speeds with those kind of guns, like I've been doing in this game. Besides ADS, another one that just came to me, extremely tight hip fire, turning corners, where you'd often get caught with your pants down with an assault rifle sprinting around a corner. You will destroy people with a submachine gun. But getting stuck in doorways on a 20+ kill streak, you will die. That was the streak fail, and I thought I could have had a double that game, but nonetheless came out with 81 kills on Specialist, my fastest MOAB so far, and a very, very fun gameplay. I had a lot of fun playing this game. It was one of them unstoppable running riot feel games that you get very infrequently, so best to make the most of them. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching, and goodbye.